Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond Incredible. I'm Ashley Nicole, and this is my co-host,
Shay Rachelle.
And as you can see behind us, you can see some flashing lights. There is a fire across the street from the Windsor Business Accelerator, located at 720 Olette Avenue.
Check out CTV News right now. I don't know what's going on.
It might be on, or the Windsor Star, you know.
Yep.
Don't check it out right now. Wait until after our show, though.
Yeah, you're
How's
watching.
that?
Thank you.
So it's February, guys. Last week we had a Valentine's special, and for the next 2 weeks we're actually going to be acknowledging Black History Month. So Shay is wearing her
Emancipation. I had to learn that word too. Come on now.
I'm so sorry.
That was, yeah.
I can't do it.
Miss Emancipation. We're not talking about Mariah Carey's album. This is legit.
So she won an award, you know.
Yeah, I won in 2011. I was Miss Emancipation.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's the Proclamation of Emancipation that was written by Abraham Lincoln. He signed the document, made it official, that emancipation means freedom, so the freedom of black people not to be slaves anymore. So it was a big deal for me because I won my first pageant. But then, of course, not all pageants have like a title or a major meaning behind them. People just think a beauty pageant.
Yeah.
But this was a big deal for me. I was Miss Emancipation. I had to spread the word of I tried to promote equality and not just make it about black power, because that's not what I'm about.
Yeah.
So I had to be true to myself and just let people know that Abraham Lincoln was a white guy, you know. So
Absolutely.
White people, all races kind of helped in helping the slaves get freed. The Underground Railroad, if it wasn't for Caucasian white people, you know.
Well, that's the thing.
They were a big help.
So we are going to talk about the slavery in America and who some people who were big players in changing that, you know.
For sure.
So it did actually start in 1607. People came over from Europe and stuff like that, from England, and it started unfortunately in 1607. But before it was known as slavery, it was considered servants. So that's how they got away with it. And then eventually by the end of the 1600s, you know, there was a man. His name was Antonio.
Yes.
Antonio de Negro, actually, and he changed his name to Anthony Johnson, I believe it was.
He was uncomfortable with the last.
He was dark, and he owned his own farm. He actually owned a bunch of acres, and he had people working for him. But when he passed away, his family eventually passed away. They didn't have heirs to move on to the compound that they had. So after that, it kind of went to a whole nother level. Every single time that they didn't like a law, they would create a new law. So to get away with certain things like the lashings and stuff like that, they would create a law, and this happened for a few hundred years.
Oh yeah.
In the States, I actually was unaware of that until yesterday.
I mean, for sure, right? I didn't know too much about emancipation and the Underground Railroad and all of that. I grew up on the West Coast, and in schools they didn't really teach that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
see, I learned about a lot of the Underground Railroad. I actually read a book when I was in grade 6 about it, and it struck my interest.
That's very early. It's good to learn early.
Exactly. So we're going to talk a little bit about Harriet Tubman. Now, Harriet Tubman, she was born Armadia Ross in 1822. She was an African-American humanitarian, and during the American Civil War, a Union spy. You know, she was born into slavery.
The original 007, right?
Yeah, she was born into slavery.
Yeah.
And Tubman escaped and subsequently made about 13 missions to rescue approximately 70 enslaved family and friends, using the network of anti-slavery activists and safe houses known for the Underground Railroad. She later helped John Brown recruit men for his raid on Harper's Ferry, and in the post-war era struggled for women's suffrage.
Amazing. Single-handedly, like,
exactly.
You know,
well, she escaped
big deal.
with her 2 brothers at one point, and then they got taken back again.
Yeah.
And then they escaped again. They managed to escape again.
Persistence. That's crazy.
So she went for the help of the Underground Railroad, and there was a coded song. They had a coded song a lot. A lot of the times they would sing the coded song.
There's a lot of singing to help get them through, right?
Yeah, they would travel through the nighttime, and there was houses and stuff like that that protected these people. You know, it almost reminds me of the Holocaust, because during the Holocaust, you know, there was a lot of secret houses. People would hide in the attic, Anne Frank, for example, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of secretive things going on. People getting out and ending up in Quebec. Windsor, there's a huge portion of it in Windsor. You know, in Amherstburg, there's the museum, right, and stuff like that. Yeah. So, you know, she traveled by night, guided by the North Star. That's how a lot of them traveled, by the North Star.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of them, that song reminds me, Wade in the Water.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They went through the water because it was kind of like silent. The dogs couldn't sniff them out, and Yeah,
and
it's
the North
crazy.
Star. Could you imagine traveling by the North Star now? Like, I travel by
No,
GPS.
we don't know what we're doing, right? I mean,
Where is
how
the
did
North
they do
Star?
it? Without reading books and figuring that they just were very, they're
and
very
that
intelligent.
goes back to legends and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
did you end up watching 12 Years a Slave?
Oh, amazing.
It was.
I can't even comprehend going through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Their
how do you
diligence.
feel about Hollywood's portrayal on American slavery, the slavery of African Americans and stuff like
Pretty
that?
good. It depends on the movie. This one I feel was very gritty. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it because it is still fairly new, but it is on Netflix. That's where I watched it. It's a great portrayal. I mean, for me, kind of seeing what happens more in the households
Exactly.
with all the slaves. You know, one of the masses, as they call them, fell in love with one of the slaves, but he was married.
And then the wife was
That
jealous.
does
The
happen.
wife was very jealous
Yeah.
and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
You know, I find that America's portrayal, or Hollywood, sorry,
Yeah.
portrayal of certain things, ever since The Passion of Christ came out, you know, when that movie came out, a lot of people were complaining that it was too graphic. Well, that's in the Bible, and that's how it happened,
guys.
right?
Yeah,
so
it is.
I know that when 12 Years a Slave came out, there was my mom, for example. She was completely shocked. She couldn't believe some of the scenes and how disturbing it was and stuff like that. But that's the reality of it. You know, it was very disturbing. You could get killed by not answering to your master or by calling them certain people, you know. It's unfortunate that people were treated like dogs. It started as being a servant, you know, people thinking they got paid, you know. There was a lot of abductions too from West Africa.
Yeah, that really showed that. They abducted families. He was already well off, kind of living a great life, and he was kidnapped. He was,
and
they
he was
drugged
living
him.
in New York but I'm talking about in general.
Oh, yeah.
In the 1600s, a lot of African people ended up moving to the middle of Africa because if they lived close to water, it was more dangerous for them to get kidnapped, you know.
Wow.
And then taken, they'd have to walk. They'd have to walk to sea.
Could you imagine?
Days.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that it's over. And unfortunately, when I say it's over, it's not 100% over because they say that America is the land of the free, but there is still a lot.
There's still a lot of hatred and racism and all that. I mean, I try personally not to focus on that because a lot of people kind of harbor that and keep it locked in and breed their own hatred in their own way, and that's not right. And that's kind of why, you know, emancipation is so important to me, to kind of be Miss-Emancipation, because holding hatred in any way is wrong. So, against any race.
Yeah, absolutely. So then Harriet Tubman actually died on March 10th, which is my mother's birthday.
That's kind of crazy. That's my birthday.
It's your birthday too. And then it's crazy because Rosa Parks was born around March. She was born February 4th, 1913.
Yeah.
So she, as Harriet Tubman died, Tubman died. I'm so sorry. Died. Rosa Parks was born, and she's another lady who was also an African American civil rights activist, right?
Quite a little powerful lady.
If you guys know who Outkast is, we all know the song Rosa Parks, right? So another activist born, and she everybody knows the story. If you don't know the story, you know, African Americans were told to stay at the back of the bus back then.
Yeah.
You know, and Shay was just saying,
I feel weird about sitting in the back of the bus.
I love the back of the bus. I love the back of the bus.
It's not a big deal, but it's just funny. It always goes through my mind. I can't help it. I'm just always like, stand at the front.
I can't even hear the name Rosa Parks without going, hush that bus.
Exactly.
Everybody to the back of the bus. So the Underground Railroad. Shay, why don't you tell us about the Underground Railroad?
Well, I'm going to read, because we did some research, so I want to make sure that, you know, we do cover everything. So the Underground Railroad was a network of secret routes and safe houses used by the 19th century slaves of African descent in the United States in efforts to escape to free states in Canada with the aid of abolitionists, good word, and allies who were sympathetic to their cause. The term is also applied to the abolitionists, both black and white, there we go again, free and enslaved who aided the fugitives. Various other routes led to Mexico or overseas. That's why, you know, we do get African Americans all over the place and mixed with different races. And Underground Railroad running south towards Florida, then a Spanish possession, existed from the late 17th century until shortly after the American Revolution. However, the network, now generally known as the Underground Railroad, was formed in the early 19th century and reached its height between 1850 and 1860. One estimate suggests that by 1850 100,000 slaves had escaped via the railroad. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So British North America, which is present day Canada, where we are right now, you know, where slavery was prohibited, was the most popular destination. Now, I don't know if you guys ever remember seeing the Heritage commercials.
Yes.
Where they're going to Quebec.
That's kind of where I got that.
It's the church, you know what I mean? They're going to a church and they don't know if the husband showed up, and they used to hide them in benches and stuff.
Right.
It's pretty interesting. And so as long as the border gave many points of access. So you say you lived out west.
I did.
There is a border out west. So there is points of access out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Because the states, I guess they would run along the borders.
So,
and,
absolutely. So most former slaves settled in Ontario. More than 30,000 people were said to have escaped there via the network during its 20-year peak period. Although U.S. Census figures account only for 6,000, numerous fugitive stories are documented in the 1872 book, The Underground Railroad Records, by William Still. So that's interesting, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's good to do your research every now and then. I mean, you know,
it is, and we learn a lot too.
We do. Yeah, it's important to talk about it.
Absolutely. And there's so many documentaries on it and stuff like that. I don't think that 1 month is enough for Black History. I don't think it should be Black History Month. I think it should be involved in all the history books. It should be a regular lesson.
Yeah.
You know, why keep it at 1 month?
Yeah. Did you see Abraham Lincoln, by the way?
The movie?
The movie, Lincoln.
I fell asleep. I'm sorry.
No, it was. I'm not going to lie. It was extremely long, but I made myself stay awake. I went to the theater for it, and it really touched me because I didn't realize he was that.
How much he had to do.
He was an amazing person.
Absolutely.
You know, and with the aid of his wife, they were a couple involved, which was also amazing.
That's probably why he got assassinated, though. You know, people didn't like
that. No, they never liked those kind of people.
He had a dream, and look, he got assassinated.
Yeah,
you know?
that's got to stop.
And JFK, he got assassinated too, and he was trying to change.
He was a good. Yes, he was
trying
another
to
one.
change things as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you didn't see The Butler.
I didn't see The Butler.
The Butler is another good movie.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So I'm reading a book right now.
Looks very interesting. I do like the cover.
It's called The Book of Negros.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't want to see that. And it's a really good book, actually. This little girl, she's abducted at the age of, I think it was 11 years old, from her village in West Africa and forced to walk for months to the sea.
Wow.
A lot of things happen in here. It goes to show she got raped on.
I was going to say, is it gritty? Yeah.
It's very gritty. They're actually making a movie about it on CBC. It's going to be a short 6-part TV series. And it's a very good book. But again, you know, you have to have the stomach to read it.
Yes.
It is gritty. It's detail. It's almost like an autobiography of her. So, she goes... Yeah, it's really good. If you haven't gotten it, Shoppers has it on sale for 25% off. I actually got this book for $12.99.
That's a great price.
It is a great price.
Yeah, get it. I mean, of course, when it's Black History Month too, they probably have a different array of chapters.
All books are on sale.
Yeah,
they'll be on 25% off. It's good though. You know, I like reading when I have time.
Yes, I've never really gotten into that. My mom's an avid reader, and I never got into that. I love my movies.
Yeah,
I mean, I do research.
I want to watch or read the book before I watch the movie.
Yeah,
because
my mom does that all the time.
I find that Angela's Ashes is a prime example. It was
I'm
an amazing
with that
book.
movie.
It was an amazing book. But the movie doesn't give it justice. So you're obsessed with the movie.
Yeah.
You should read the book. There's so much that they left out.
Really?
Absolutely. It's crazy.
That's interesting.
They do that with a lot of books. I find that the only movies that are really on point with books are the Harry Potter movies. And the
Harry Potter on point. Yeah.
Harry Potter on point. That's new hashtag.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So what else, Shay?
Well, I mean... To talk about the emancipation, I mean, I learned a lot during my reign because it kind of taught me different things. Like I said, I got to learn about myself. I am mixed. I was born, my dad is from Iraq, and my mother's side of the family, the Black, is Caribbean, Trinidad, and Native, Irish, Scottish. So, I mean, you know, I've always embraced every heritage. I like to research about everything. So this kind of got me in touch with the Black side, and I was like, hey, you know, I got to research about emancipation, the Underground Railroad, how Windsor was such a huge part of it, and we even came out with a shirt from the huge campaign here beside me. We have this. It's got the, if you guys can see there,
it's the huge
we've got a stamp on there.
Yeah, Emancipation proclamation?
Proclamation by Abraham Lincoln. Well, it's awkward to look at. It's tongue twister. Emancipation Proclamation. I've said it a million times, so it's not a tongue twister. But 150 years in 2013, so it would be 152 this year. So it's kind of a big deal. I hope they keep up with having the Freedom Festival downtown. That is what I was involved with. It was 2 years, so 2012. I hosted a bunch of events, galas. We went and talked about, I hosted a gala that was talking about the War of 1812, and which, you know, that's what kind of started with the black soldiers and how they got to fight in the war because they really wanted to. They really wanted to contribute, and they were like, let us fight in the war, and then it finally happened.
Perfect.
So yeah,
okay,
big deal.
Windsor Express tomorrow, there's a game at 2 o'clock. They're actually going to be doing something for Black History Month. If you want to check it out, go to the WFCU Center. The game starts at 2. It's an early game because it's Sunday. Today they are going to play, where was it, Brampton?
Is it Moncton?
No, Brampton today and Moncton tomorrow.
Oh, they're playing a double. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they did it last weekend.
Way to go, guys.
So they are in the championship series. It's a road to repeat.
Congratulations.
So hopefully they get it. You know, it's our team. We love them.
Keep showing up to the games. They're not finished yet.
No, their last regular series game will be on the 28th. Knox from Digital Media will be in production there. Doing it, you know, Shay will be there doing the booster juice. Check her out, always in the shiny stuff. Sequence. You can find her in the sequence in the what's, I almost said booth, in the stands.
In the stands.
Doing the booster juice questions. I'm really unable to speak. This is horrible.
That tongue of yours, man.
I don't know what's going on. So we'll be back next week. We're going to have a special next week. There's a beautiful author coming in.
Yes.
She wrote a book when she was 12 or 13 years old. She got it published when she was 18. And she's got some things to tell us. So I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Yeah. And you guys need to stay tuned at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What's happening at 3?
3 o'clock? Oh, I'm going to be interviewing because the Junior Achievement Awards.
Business Achievement?
Yeah, the Junior Achievement Awards will be given out because they won a contest. And I'll be interviewing them about their beauty care. They released a beauty care product, so I'll be talking to them about that. So I'm pretty excited.
Perfect.
Yeah, what that's all about. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. So on to beauty care. You know, we talked about it. We put out a little advertisement out. You know, if anybody wants to get their hair done, you know, I have a really good girl. She's in Tecumseh. 14 years experience. You know, she does everything from extensions to eyelash extensions to makeovers to dyes and stuff like that.
Awesome.
And she's good. So everybody go check her out. She's in Tecumseh.
For sure.
It's 2727 Tecumseh Road. No, I don't know what it is. Anyway, so go check it out. And stay tuned at 3 o'clock for an all-new special show so that you can see people get their awards and talk about fashion and beauty and their product and stuff. So thanks for watching and tune in next